Hi friends, I'm Kyla and welcome back to the Infinite Library, and today we're going to be doing my September TBR, which means it's time for Magical Readathon, and I am going back to Orilium. So it's usually in August that we do the Magical Readathon, but G at Book Roast that runs the Readathon has actually moved to September, which I actually kind of prefer because September feels more like a school time period. So she released the prompts just recently and I rushed to see what I could try and make my existing TBR fit into, and I've had to add in a few extra, which is fun because there are a few books that I've wanted to get to for a while that I've kind of been able to squeeze in thanks to the prompts. For anyone that doesn't know, Magical Readathon is an academic magic school-based readathon. Essentially, you make a character, you choose a class, like to kind of sit in, like a school. I am the House of the Arcane, and then you choose a calling, like a job class essentially, which you choose to study in, and each of those callings basically has like a certain number of classes that you have to complete, which correlate to prompts. It's all very fun. Some of the prompts are like super imaginative. So I play as Elspeth. She's actually one of my D&D characters. I was actually going to dress up as her today for this, and then I realised that I don't have the wig anymore that would kind of work for her. So you're just getting regular or me for this one. But maybe next year I will actually cosplay my character, because that would be very fun, and do all my updates like in character. That could be a fun little vlog. For this month, for this term should I say, I am going to be continuing in Faewild Cartographer as my calling. I did that for the whole of last year and the first half of this year, so I am completing the calling in autumn, and I'm going to continue with Fred Mage as well, hopefully. If I don't manage to get to the books in Fred Mage, it's not a major deal. That was just like an extra calling that I decided to tack on because it was kind of fun. But yeah, all the details you can see below at G's announcement video if this is something that you would also like to take part in. It's just really fun. We have a Discord and there's a lot of sprints that go on. We're going to have like a book club book for each house as well. At the moment, I don't know what that's going to be, but hopefully it'll be something that I want to read and that I can add to my list as well. And yeah, without further ado, let us go over the actual calling classes and we'll see what I'm going to read. So for Faewild Cartographer, I have to read 7 books, and the first one is for elemental studies, and that is to read a book that has my favourite scent in the title, cover, or last name. I actually really struggled with this one because my favourite scent is actually jasmine, and I have one book that has jasmine in the title, and it's the Jasmine Throne, and I read it last year. Funnily enough, I read it in Magical Readathon last year, so I don't want to reread that just now, even though I probably will give it a reread before I pick up the sequel, but that was out. So, and I really was struggling to find anything with jasmine that wasn't just like an author's title, and I think I managed to find one book that I was kind of interested in, and then I was like, wait, what other things do you like? And I remembered that my favourite candle scent at the moment is this one actually from Game Tea, which is called Hyrulean Forest, Into the Whispering Wood. I absolutely love the smell of this. It's just like really fresh and springy, and it's actually like my go-to when I'm feeling stressed. I'll just take a sniff of it and it calms me down a little bit. So with this in mind then, I looked for something that was like foresty or woody in the title, and I realised I actually have an audiobook that I've been wanting to get to for a while. And it's actually quite a short one as well, which is a nice little beginner starter for the month. So I am going to be reading for this Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. This is a queer fantasy novella. I'm going to be reading it by audiobook most likely. And it's actually a duology as well. I think it's called the Green Hallow duology. It's very botanical. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I know that a lot of people read it last year and actually quite liked it. And it's short, and it just sounds like it would be something that'd be up my alley, and I've wanted to get to it for a while. I actually have both of them by audiobook, so I may end up reading both of them during the course of the month. But at the very least, I will be reading Silver in the Wood. So yeah, very excited to get to that one. Then for animal studies, I have to read a book with Phoenix on the cover or in the title. And if you've been watching my unboxings, you will know that a certain book arrived in a book box recently which is all about phoenixes. I feel like a lot of people are probably going to pick this for the prompt just because it's very conveniently just released. And if you like get the Illumicrate box, then you'll probably have got it. And yeah, this honestly sounds really great. I'm actually really happy that I can read this a little bit sooner than I was expecting to, because it was something that sounds completely up my alley, but I kind of thought it was just going to get stuck on my shelves for a while. So this is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean, and it is a queer cozy fantasy about a woman called Isla who works as a phoenix keeper at a zoo for magical creatures, but there are issues going on and she needs to try and save an entire species from extinction. The zoo's breeding program doesn't really work that well. Basically, she has to end up like getting help from a griffin keeper. And yeah, it's basically all about this magical zoo, and there's going to be cute romance, and there's going to be lots of cozy interactions and possibly fairly low stakes, I think. And this just sounds like a good time, honestly. So yeah, really happy. I'm definitely going to be getting to this soon. Next, I am slightly behind, if you know, on Literary Diversion's Fits Along. I have indeed decided that I'm not going to read the Fits books in that book series now, which I know is ridiculous when it's literally called the Fits Along, but I still want to give Robin Hobb another try. And at the moment, I'm actually going to be late because I believe we technically finished the first book of the Live Ship Traders, but I just did not get to it in the month of August. So I am going to finally get to it in the month of September instead, and it is the first book in the Live Ship Traders series, Ship of Magic. I have actually read this one once before as well, and I remember really enjoying it. I actually gave it a 5-star, but I read it so long ago, like we're talking like 10 plus years, I think, ago that I read this. Nothing is in my head anymore. I remember the intro being about a family, and I remember, I think the main girl is called Althea, and there's this pirate captain guy called Kenneth who's kind of an asshole. But honestly, I remember nothing about this book, and I want to reread it anyway, and I'm just hoping I'll have a better time with it than I did with the Fitz books. I realised I just said I was going to read this, and I didn't even tell you what it's for. This is actually for astronomy, and it is to read a book released on your birth month, which is March, and that is actually when this was originally released, so that worked out perfectly for me. Next, we are doing alchemy, and that is to read a book that will make you emotional. So I am doing my Goodreads challenge at the moment. Some of the books will be appearing in this, some I won't tell you, but basically some of the books you're seeing here may be part of the Goodreads challenge that I'm doing. For this month, I am reading 3 books from the memoir autobiography category and 3 books from the thriller mystery category. So if you see a lot of those genres in this TBR, that is probably why. But one of these is How to Say Babylon by Safia Sinclair. I had a couple of different options for this one, and I debated some others, but I really feel like this one is actually going to get me in the feels, to be honest. This is a Jamaican memoir. It's a lot about Rastafarian culture and about our author basically tries to find her own voice as a woman in a very like patriarchal, repressive sort of upbringing that she had. And yeah, it sounds like it's really interesting, and yeah, excited to kind of read that and you know, read more memoirs. I love reading memoirs, honestly. So I think it is probably going to be one that makes me emotional because memoirs hit me. Then next, I have to read Inscription, which this one was actually kind of hard. I had to find a book that has the title with all the letters of my first name in it, which is Kyla, which is K-I-L-A. It sounds like it'd be simple. You'd be surprised. I was very lucky actually, and there was a book that was sitting on my TBR cart that does actually have all the letters in it, and that is Where the Dark Stand Still by A.B. Porinet. This is, I realize I'm reading a lot of like forest fantasies for this TBR, which is fine. I'm totally cool with this. It's also a very fantasy heavy TBR so far. But this is about a girl called Liska. She's raised in a small village near the Spirit Wood, which has monsters, and magic is considered to be monstrous. However, she is then caught by the demon warden of the wood, who offers her a bargain, 1 year of servitude in exchange for a wish. So she is whisked away to a manor, finds out she's not the only person to strike the bargain, and she has to work out how to survive the year. This is kind of giving me My Heart an Open Grave vibes, which was very like Labyrinth inspired. So yeah, I'm hoping I will like this. I feel like it's going to be hit and miss, though, honestly, as to whether I like the characters or not, because this is giving me romantic-y vibes, and I don't know if that's going to gel with me or not. Like, the UK cover is very boring, by the way. Here's the American cover, which is gorgeous, but that gives me completely romantic vibes. So yeah, I do want to try this out though, because this is one of the authors that's going to be at Yalc in November, and yeah, I think it's one that's been getting a lot of hype. This side for this is really nice though, even if I think the actual cover is kind of boring for the UK edition. But yeah, it does indeed have all the letters of my first name, so that is what I'm going to be reading for it. For my 6th book, I actually had another qualification in inscription, and that was I had to use a colour wheel to pick my title colour. So without further ado, here is the wheel and what it picked for me. So it gave me the colour amber, which I'm just going to put down as being any kind of yellowy sort of title. And this one was quite an easy one. It's one that I'm definitely going to be reading anyway, and I've gone for The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. This is the sequel to The Housemaid, which at this point of filming I have but haven't read yet, but I will hopefully be reading in the last couple of days of August. And yeah, this was the winner of the 2023 Goodreads Mystery Thriller Award, so I'm obviously going to be reading it. I don't really know a whole lot about it other than it's going to be a kind of mystery about a housemaid who kind of snoops, I think, and finds out things that she isn't supposed to, but it's going to be a quick read, I think. So yeah, that is what I'm reading for. Title colour is yellow or amber. And then the final book for Faewild Cartographer was an interesting one. This is for demonology, and I had to have a book chosen for me by someone who doesn't necessarily read books like a lot as a hobby. And actually my flatmate only reads occasionally. She's much more of a video gamer than she is a reader. So I basically like put all of the books out from my TBR trolley onto my bed, and I just said pick one. So she bless her, she like took ages like going through them all and like seeing what they were all about and stuff before she finally picked this one for me. This is a YA thriller called Lie or Die by AJ Clack. This is one of the ones for Yalc that I've took out to read, and it is about a reality TV competition that goes deadly. But both her and me like love kind of like death game video games like Danganronpa, the Zero Escape series, Isomnium, that kind of thing. So I think as soon as she saw this as kind of like that kind of thing, that like caught her eye. But yeah, I'll just read the premise for this one because I feel like it says what it's about very well. 10 strangers trapped in a television studio, 42 remote cameras, one rule: trust no one. Cass has been tricked into auditioning for a new reality TV show, Lie or Die. To win, she must uncover the murderous agents hidden among the innocent players. So it's very werewolf, actually. But someone is playing for real, and contestants are being picked off one by one. No longer a game of truth and lies, Cass and her castmates find themselves in a fight for survival. Can Cass escape, or will she die trying? So yeah, this looks so fun. Honestly, I'm very excited for it. And we've also got like a little like instructions for the game and a glossary in it. And that is all the books I'm reading. Let me get them all actually. I obviously don't have them all physically, but these are the ones I do have physically that I'm going to be reading for Faewild Cartographer. So for Fred Mage, there are slightly less books for that one, and I believe there are 5 books for Fred Mage. And again, I don't have all of these physically. Actually, some of these prompts are repeated, which is a funny thing. So the first prompt is actually a repeat prompt, and it is to read a book that will make you emotional. We've got alchemy again. Honestly, I feel like this is a very easy prompt to fulfill because I feel like there are lots of books that could possibly make me emotional. I don't know. But I have a pre-order coming in September, and it is for Jacqueline Wilson's new book, Think Again. And I have been rereading the Girls series, which is kind of like what this book is a sequel to. The Girls series was basically this higher middle grade, low YA book series. It's a series with 4 books in it, and each of them basically follows these 3 girls and like the trials and tribulations they go through as being a teenager. It wasn't anything amazing, but I really enjoyed them, and I've been rereading them in anticipation of this new book coming out. And I believe the new book is set 30 years after those books. So our main character Ellie is like, I think she's in her early 40s or something. So that they're all in their early 40s. She has a single mother with a daughter now. And yeah, I just really think this is going to be like a nostalgia book for me. I hope it's good, because I really don't know, because having reread them, I've had a mixed experience with the books. But I'm really excited to see what Jacqueline Wilson is going to do with the characters, and I'm kind of really hoping for this to be like a feel-good, satisfactory kind of book. But I know there's going to be romance in it, and I hate the romance in the girl series. Like, I'm very glad that if she's a single mother, then I hope that means that the boy that she dated in the books, called Russell, who I hated with a passion, is not in the picture. Watch it be that she finds love with Russell. I would hate that. But yeah, I think because it's going to be a nostalgia book for me, I think it is going to be kind of an emotional read. So I thought that was a good one to put for this prompt. The next prompt then is the next one in alchemy. I have to be qualified in alchemy, and that is to read a book that was formerly self-published. And again, I happen to have one on my TBR that I didn't actually realise until I was reading up on it was originally a web novel. But this is The House Witch and the Enchanting of the Heath. I don't actually know if it's by Emily Nakota or Delamac. I think Delamac might have been like their username on the site where they first wrote this novel, and their actual name is Emily Nakota. But this is a cozy fantasy. Again, we're really getting there with the cozy fantasy. Honestly, everything about this I just love. Like, it's so freaking cute, and I'm really hoping I'll love it. So this is about someone called Finley who works in the kitchen of the king and queen. He is kind of seen as like a bit of a mystery person, but as long as he makes like great meals, and it's not really a big deal, I guess. But his past begins to catch up with him, and he is trying to like stay out of trouble and negotiate court politics with his familiar, a fluffy black kitten called Kraken. But then he catches the eye of a certain lady at court, and he has to kind of like either like hide his secrets and protect his heart at the same time. But yeah, it says it's going to be a romance. The font is absolutely tiny from this, so that's going to be fun to read. But this is part of a series as well, which I believe there are 4 books, but I think I've only seen the first one in bookstores. So I think maybe only the first one has been like actually traditionally published at the moment. So that one fit this bill. I'm very excited to check this out, and yeah, I hope I like it. I really, this is one of those that I'm kind of like, I am dreading that it's going to be something that I don't like, because I really want to love this book so much. Next, I have to read the first of the spells and incantations prompts, and that is to read what I believe is going to be a 5-star, so a 5-star prediction. For this, basically all the books that I've put forward for my book club for the month are 5-star predictions. At the time of filming, I've not had my book club yet to determine what that book is going to be for September, but the options are, I have 3 books, only 2 of them I have physically, but we have A Master of Jin, which is a Cairo fantasy. It gives me some sci-fi vibes because I think there's like time travel stuff going on, but it sounds really interesting. We have The Invocations, which is a YA horror kind of thing with witches and necromancy, and it sounds great. Honestly, this was actually picked for me by Laura to read, so it's one I need to get to this month anyway. And then the last one is The Principle of Moments by Esme Jikiemi Pearson. This is another time travel one actually, with a sci-fi base, and this one just sounds really interesting. I've wanted to get to this all year, and something just like, I just keep not getting around to it. So I thought if I put it on as a book club choice, then it might finally get there. So it's going to be one of those 3 books. But they're all 5-star predictions for me. Right, second to last prompt. This is going to be the next spells and incantations one for the qualified. And this is to read a book that is shown in any of G Book Roast videos. As it happens, there was something on my TBR that's shown in a thumbnail of G's, and it is Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. This is a dark thriller. It's inspired by a real-life sorority which was targeted by America's first celebrity serial killer. So yeah, this is basically following 2 women, I think. One is the sorority president called Pamela, who basically was one of the few people to survive this horrible serial killing that killed a lot of her friends back in 1978 Tallahassee. And then we're also following someone called Tina, who lives in Seattle, who has found peace after years of hardship when Ruth, her best friend, suddenly goes missing from a state park on a beautiful summer's day. So basically they think the serial killer guy is to do with it, so they end up meeting, I suppose. I don't really know a whole lot about this in terms of the plot, but I've heard very good things about it. So yeah, I'm excited. I've not really read this kind of thing before, but I'm really excited to give it a go. So the last prompt is something I haven't actually decided yet. Basically, for Fred Mage, there was another duplication of a prompt, and it was to basically find another book that had all the letters of my first name in, and I just could not find anything that I really wanted to read with all 4 letters in it. So I'm actually going to make use of the new Emporium that's been released as part of this readathon, which basically means that you can spend your guild points to get various items, and one of those items is a scroll of exchange, which allows you to exchange a prompt for something else. So I'm just going to basically, because this is like the Fred Mage one anyway, which is like my extra calling, I'm just going to basically read all my other books, and then if there's something else I feel like reading, then I'm just going to have a look at what prompt kind of works for it. I was wrong. There was actually one more book that I didn't realise was actually on the Fred Mage curriculum, and that is Restoration, and that is to read a book with a night sky on the cover. And this is honestly a really easy one to get. Like, there were so many options I could have picked. There's a book I had that I was like, I could almost pick this, which is The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James. So I almost picked that, but in the end I decided to pick something that was something I was going to be reading anyway. Again, try and read more Jacqueline Wilson books, and that is Double Act. And I know this is kind of a reach, but there's stars and this dark blue background. I'm gonna say it's a sky. So, because this kind of looks like daytime and this is nighttime. So this is Double Act by Jacqueline Wilson. This is one of my old favourites. It's about 2 twins called Ruby and Garnet, who are identical, or so it seems, except things happen. Just a quick, easy read. I love, you know, it's a good time. I really love this book. I'm hoping it kind of still holds up a book, but even though I am not the target audience for this anymore. So yeah, sorry, that was the last book. In terms of other books I'm going to be reading, I'm obviously going to be doing the Goodreads challenge. You've seen a couple of books that are there from this, but I'm going to be reading 1 more thriller book and 2 more memoirs, which I'm not going to say what they are, but that will be happening as well in the month. And also, I am still doing my buddy read at the moment of When the Moon Hatched. We didn't really make any progress on this in August, but I'm hoping we will in September. So yeah, I don't really remember a whole lot about what this is about now, but it's a dragon book and it sounds like it's going to be really good. I'm just not yet at the point. As you can see, I'm not even 100 pages in. This is a chunk of a book. I'm not really at the point where I really know exactly what's going on yet, but hopefully I will make some progress on this in the month of September as well. I'm likely going to be picking up some more books in September as well, which I may end up reading 1 or 2 if I'm in the mood, because I'm actually going to be going to Hay-on-Wye for a long weekend with some family, which I'm really excited about. If for any people that don't know, it is a little village near the boundaries of Wales and England, I think, and it's known as the Book Village, and there are just so many bookshops in that place. I'm so excited. I'm definitely going to be vlogging my time there, and I'll likely pick up some books. So expect there to maybe be a bit of a mini book haul as well, and a vlog coming up soon. For Eagle Eye Demon, you may notice that I haven't actually pulled anything from my TBR jar for this month. I'm actually not going to pull anything for this month because I have like so many things that I'm reading for Magical Readathon, and there's likely going to be a side quest as well, which tends to add more books on. So I'm actually not going to pull for this month, and I'm going to pull 2 in the month of October instead. So you'll get a double bonanza of TBR job next month. So that is it basically. Let me get all these books that I'm going to be reading. So just saw one of them disappear, but this is kind of like the stack that I'm going to be hopefully getting through in the month. That Principle and Moments might get swapped to something else, but this is a physical stack, and then I've got a couple of other books that you can't see here, and a couple of audiobooks as well. No manga or graphic novels this month, surprisingly, but I might try and get a little bit further in Apothecary Diaries or in Higurashi, I think, if I have a bit of spare time. I'm going to be traveling, so I feel like I'm going to have like a lot of free dead time, which I might be able to get some more stuff in. But yeah, this is hefty enough, I think, for a month. But a lot of books that I'm really excited to be getting to. I'm really excited to be like dedicatedly reading thrillers for a little while because it's something I'm starting to get into. I'm excited for all the cozy fantasy I'm going to be reading. And yeah, it's just going to be a good month of reading, I hope. So that is it for this video. As always, feel free to comment if there's anything down below that you're also really excited about, like it's one that you're gonna read, maybe it's one you read and you're like, yes, please read it, you're gonna love it. And as always, stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! You know how I said I had no manga that I'd be reading this month? My friend came over and she brought all of these. So I guess I'm reading some manga this month somehow as well.